Hello, and welcome to part 4 of Pokémon Yellow. Now, with Misty out of the way, we're going to be heading north toward the Nugget Bridge, which is the most exciting part of the game, clearly. But first up, we've got to fight this jackass again. So yeah, Blue, he's not quite as annoying as like the black and white rivals. He doesn't show up all the time, but he still shows up quite a lot. I guess it kind of is a good way of showing progression, you know, of like your team's levelling up, his team's levelling up, he start evolving, so do yours, you know. I think you murder one of his Raticate down the line, but...
Plus he's always a gym ahead of you.
I kind of like that idea as a story motif, the fact that like he's the goal you want to get, you know, he's like the motivation. Like this guy who's kind of an arsehole to you is doing better, so that's your like prompt to, you know, keep going. Get stronger, so just so you can beat this one twat. You know?
One thing I really like is with Vermilion Gym. Is that Giovanni's gym?
Nah, you think Viridian, yeah.
Yeah, you go to that gym and the guy at the front who's always greeting you, he's like, no one knows who the gym leader is, not even I do. But then you click on the pedestal that's next to him, and it says, Gym Leader Giovanni, beaten by Blue.
It's like he's blind, he can't read.
I'm pretty sure people know who he is.
Yeah, well...
And it just makes it even worse, the fact that your rival's already beaten him.
Yeah. Although, like, whether Giovanni actually revealed himself or whether he was doing that whole fucking voice changer thing he did in the anime, I don't know. No, that was kind of an unfair fight when, like, Gary showed up at his gym and it's like, go on Mewtwo, finish him off. Yeah, I do find it interesting how that sort of led into the film a little bit. Sort of.
So canonically, Ash died.
How?
Well, it leads into the film. Technically, the film exists in the anime, so canonically, Ash has died. True. He just doesn't remember.
Yeah, I know there was like the throwback to it in the Mirage special as well, weren't there? Like going through Ash's memories and that. Even though it was meant to be forgotten. Although I suppose it would have been revived in, you know, Mewtwo Returns.
He doesn't even revive it. He doesn't make them remember anything.
No, but he still remembers Mewtwo.
Yeah, he remembers Mewtwo.
But it just feels odd that, like, they use this sort of bullshit, you know, make everyone forget anything when he's going to come back anyway. And when he came back, he suddenly sounded like Dan Green, which, man, take it. I like that.
I prefer the original voice for Mewtwo.
Original Mewtwo did have a really fucking cool voice, but I also like Dan Green, so...
It just worked so well.
Was it Mewtwo? They had another Mewtwo in a later special that was like a feminine one.
Genesect.
Yeah, I haven't watched that film. Like,
that is a crap film. Don't bother.
Does he turn into?
It's not even the same Mewtwo. It's a different Mewtwo, and it's got the voice of a woman for some reason. It turns out that Team Rocket had made a second Mewtwo at some point.
Sure, why not?
And while it's chained up or whatever, being experimented on, escapes and can somehow mega evolve on its own into its wife form.
What?
And can travel at light speed.
Wife form is the bottle opener one, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah. I prefer to call it Mewboo.
Well, I just see it like that thing on its head. It's a bottle opener, and the other one's like the proper butch one, isn't it?
Yeah. That's Frieza. That's even more Frieza.
You're losing me here.
Well, what's the deal with the legendary Pokemon? It's only meant to be one of them.
Technically,
but
yes.
There's different.
No, it's just that it's a movie. The movies aren't canon except for the first one.
Well, actually, I think at least one of the Diamond Pearl ones isn't it?
I think I remember you saying they mentioned the Darkrai event.
I think it would have been that. Like, I think they had something from the film show. I don't remember exactly, but I know at least one of them is canon. It's just weird how fucking all over the place them films are.
So I sort of thought that in the Darkrai film, it's like, yeah, Dialga and Palkia are meeting for the first time and shit's going down. And then in the Giratina film, it's like you just suddenly see Dialga's just appearing on Earth just to go to a pond to drink. Just like, what does he just do this now? After meeting Palkia, is he just like, yeah, I'm just going to go for a wander now?
Just go for a little walk, go explore the world, go explore the neighbourhood. I'm trying to think, like, the Diamond and Pearl films had like that sort of trilogy for the first, linked into each other, which not a bad idea, honestly. I'm trying to think, I don't think I ever saw the Giratina one. I saw the Darkrai one and the Arceus one.
Giratina one's good enough. You got that crazy guy who is absolutely in love with Giratina's powers and for some reason believes that the distortion world is beautiful. They don't explain why he thinks this way.
I wonder what they'd make of the world where the Ultra Beasts are then.
Yeah. They go full Lusamine.
I am a jellyfish tentacle monster now, because that makes sense.
It's like, watch me transform into this thing. Oh my god, this is amazing. What's this battle gonna be like? Sends out her exact team.
Yeah. Why can't you fucking fight her?
Wait, so this is just aesthetics. This is just a trainer aesthetic. What you've done is given character customization to the enemy.
Yeah.
That is all.
Yeah. It kind of reminds me of, is it Chobin in XD, where he's got like the Groudon mech, and how fun would it have been to fight the Groudon mech itself, but no, you just end up fighting his Pokemon.
It's like you don't know what typing she could be.
Yeah. She's hentai type, clearly. You see the tentacles.
Oh dear God. It's like, how did she even merge with them? What the fuck are the Ultra Beasts?
There's some fucking fusion thing going on.
Like they just sort of say like the Ultra Beasts are Pokemon from another dimension.
See, like, I was hoping they would do more with, like, the things, the Ultra Beasts. Is it Nihilego or something? Nihilego, I think it is. Like, that, the way it and Lily resemble each other. I just thought it was kind of a lame workaround. I saw that design and thought, okay, are they going to fuse this? Yeah. Like, they're going to do something with that?
I wasn't exactly irritated by what the reveal was. I was like, that actually makes sense from a story standpoint.
Anyway, Bulbasaur evolved.
Oh, right.
Yeah, but...
Got a bigger plant.
Why do they all have the same line of text, though? I did my best, I have no regrets.
They're all clones. I mean, look. The two girls, they're exactly the same. Well, except for that guy there, he's actually unique.
He's different-ish. But yeah, the Nugget Bridge is boring. That's why this part is especially bullshit, because it's just a long series of trainers.
What was the version of Hell in Pokemon called? Realm,
there's no Hell in Pokemon. There's the Distortion Realm. That's where Giratina is. And technically Giratina is the Pokemon Devil because he got banished by Arceus to that realm for being so destructive.
What is this, Arceus?
Arceus is God.
The Devil,
Giratina, but
and is there another one?
Then there's Dialga and Palkia and their time and space.
Yeah, this is like some weird compass thing going on here.
It's like the Holy Trinity. Thing is, though, despite the fact that Giratina's the devil and Arceus is God, Giratina's not equal to Arceus. He's still got lower stats.
Pokélore.
Still, I guess it makes sense that you can capture God in a little red ball.
Yeah, and sit next to it and have it follow you around in Heart Gold and Soul Silver. Like, here's my pet God.
And put it through contests, make him look pretty, feed him cupcakes and Pokemon to me.
Yeah, I can just pet him on my DS screen. That's cool.
It's like, I could destroy you, Cupcake. Yay! It's so hilarious when you think of it this way.
But like, what about if you had an Arceus and you just developed like bad friendship stats with it? Like, oh fuck.
So how do you make up with that?
Hey, another evolution. I'm getting through a lot of things in this bridge. Pidgeotto's a cool design. I think I might actually like Pidgeotto's design on par with Pidgeot.
I prefer
Stephen
Pidgeotto.
does, yeah.
I prefer Pidgeotto to Pidgeot.
See, I like Pidgeot, but I also like the little tough thing that Pidgeotto has on his head.
Mega Pidgeot's pretty cool.
I can't remember what that looks like.
So it gets it's like it looks bigger and it's got sort of like blue tint to the edge of its feathers. It gets a really long
Oh, I think it's coming back to me, yeah.
bit coming down from its head.
Have we made the obligatory Jesus Bird joke yet?
No, we haven't.
So this is the thing, like, this playthrough, at the time people are watching it, was recorded quite a while ago, just because we're stockpiling parts. But how long ago? Nobody will ever know. So anyway, how about that damn Daniel me?
Goodness sake. It's like, because you can trade the Pokemon from Yellow to Sun and Moon now, people were sort of theorising that because in none of the other games except for Gen 1, Machamp can learn Fissure, it's one-hit KO. In the later games also, Machamp's ability is No Guard. No Guard means that every move can hit, no matter the accuracy.
Oh, I can see this being a problem.
So people were thinking for quite a while, No Guard Machamp with a Choice Scarf to increase its speed so you get the first hit in is going to be everywhere. Unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on however you look at it, every Pokemon you trade over from the Gen 1 games has its hidden ability. So Machamp doesn't get No Guard.
I think if you get a Pokemon going through every generation, like, you get a special ribbon for it, don't you? Which is cool. Doesn't that have some sort of allusion to, like, it being another universe or something?
Kind of. I mean, you do get a special... pretty sure you get a special reward for Pokemon from Gen 3 to Omega Ruby.
I can imagine how time-consuming it would be to transfer on that. Because, like, the Gen 1 ones on the Virtual Console and that, you got Pokemon Bank for that, haven't you? Whereas, if you've got your Game Boy Advance copy of Pokemon Ruby that you then have to put in the Power Park to Gen 4, then how is it to get it onto Black and White? Isn't it that, like, a trade or something?
Yeah, it's sort of like a little mini game where you shoot Pokeballs at your Pokemon to catch them and trade them over.
That's odd.
Yeah.
And how does that move to Gen 6? Is that Pokebank? Or is that something else?
Yeah, it is. To Gen 6, it's Pokebank.
Oh, so then I imagine it's just using Pokebank again to like, get it up to 7.
It's like trading between the games. It's always something like this Pokemon's travelled through time or something like that. I'd imagine trading from Gen 1 to Gen 7 it'd just come up. This Pokemon has been waiting a bloody long time.
This Pokemon literally is Price's Piloswine. No, but it just makes me think of all the shit you'd need to do that, because you'd need you'd need an OG DS, wouldn't you, that's got the GBA slot.
Yeah.
Then you'd need a 3DS as well for Pokebank. Oh, Jesus fucking Christ.
It's like by the time the Pokemon's been traded from Gen 1 to Gen 7, it's like, and it's dead, you'll have to take it to be revived from a fossil.
Yeah, but like, that's assuming that you are trying to get one of the Game Boy Advance games. Like, you've got extra steps still. Like, say, if I wanted to get my Espeon and Umbreon from Colosseum over, or something like that. Because I remember I did use my Umbreon from Colosseum quite a bit in Ruby, just because that was the first Pokemon I bothered levelling up to level 100. That, and then shortly afterwards I leveled up the Sceptile that I got from Ruby. Because Sceptile is fucking based.
Yep.
I love Sceptile so much.
I'm so glad they had one of the best battles ever in Pokemon. The Mega Sceptile versus Ash Greninja.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Fight is so beautiful. The animation is gorgeous.
If I could just, I haven't watched much of the XY series, I've just watched a few episodes in, but then was sort of burnt out on it after Black and White. But one thing I've seen from the animation that I really like in X and Y is that they started using a 3D camera. If you think of the original series up to about Black and White, every shot would be like a static shot. you just have whatever particular thing you get into the action poses and it'd just be like the thing happening and some like stripy background going by, and every shot would be like a static camera shot. They started doing like some creative camera movements around like a 3D sort of movement, and it just adds such an extra dimension to the battles themselves.
Definitely.
And then they had to throw out that animation style and have a shit one again.
So again, definitely it shows with the Sceptile battle, because you show Greninja running down through the Frenzy plant from all different angles, and it's just changing smoothly.
I've got to ask Stephen, what do you think of the Sun and Moon animation style?
It's alright.
I understand why they're doing that, because they want to put like more dynamic animations, and if you have these more simplistic character designs, you can do more with them.
Yeah.
Like original Ash's design is a very static sort of design, and so he only has so many movements that you can make interesting. But the thing is, I really don't like that art style. I think it just looks really like childish.
It hasn't changed since it started, has it?
It has changed quite a lot,
but like not. It sort of always looked the same. This is completely different.
There's different phases of it. Like there's the original Cell animation, which was like the hand drawn stuff from which got to a little right up until a little way into Johto. It was a few episodes into Johto, then they changed it to the digital animation style, which was still like sort of looking like the original one, but it was a lot smoother. There were like less little artifacts, I guess. But then over time, they sort of changed it slowly. One thing that I did find out, one little bit of trivia, is that because they wanted to wean people into the digital animation slowly when they changed it in Johto, for a period of time, they still started adding like little grainy effects, like artificial grainy effects, just so it weren't such a harsh change from one episode to the next. And they just gradually weaned that off over the next few episodes, which I think is really clever.
Yeah,
just because
cool.
it avoids that shock of like everything's changed at once, doesn't it? It sort of eases people into it. One thing I do find odd about the new animation style though is that compared to like Diamond and Pearl, Black White, XY, the Sun and Moon animation actually has fewer frames of animation, despite the animations themselves having more going on. Because I think it was around the start of Diamond and Pearl where they upped it to 30 frames per second. But Sun and Moon goes back down to 24 frames per second. So it just seems odd that maybe that is the sort of thing they're going for. They want it to be more jumpy animation. That's just a style they're going for. I don't know. It just seems weird that given the purpose of changing the animation was to, make
Upgrade
it...
and improve.
Yeah, it's odd to me, but I think I bullshitted about animation over us getting Charmander, so yeah, we have Charmander now. Charmander is, like I said, he's the coolest starter here. His original episode was like he was abandoned, wasn't he, by his original trainer, and Ash went and saved him. So that's kind of his backstory here. They really abridged it to like 2 lines of text. That's why I weren't even paying attention here.
Yeah, it's like it's like I said, they reference the moments in the anime, but it literally is just a couple of lines of text saying like, "Yeah, this was abandoned. Do you want it?"
Yeah. Well, I think what he was saying was more along the lines of, "This is my Charmander. I'm a bad trainer. Take it." So that's the too long ding read.
I'm its trainer. You hate me because I have the Charmander, and you don't.
Yeah, you enjoy your shitty little track rap, Brit. And it's already a Charmeleon, because I did some grinding off screen.
Of course.
Charmeleon's pretty cool. It is, again, it's the awkward middle stage, but it's kind of cool. It's got that little gleam of aggression in it, which
it
I
looks
can
like
go
a
with.
Velociraptor a little bit.
Not really.
Well, it looks sort of along the lines of it, because it's like standing on its hind legs, it's got the longer arms. Just looks so much more vicious. I guess is what I'm going for.
Yeah, it has got that sort of aggressive facial expression most of the time, hasn't it? My team here is starting to form, finally. I think I'll eventually chuck out the Pidgeotto, but, So this is the thing with Pokemon Yellow. You will end up wanting to use all the starters because they're some of the best Pokemon in the game. But that means you've got 4 of your slots taken up. So like your other 2, like most Pokemon Yellow runs you see from people will have very similar teams.
One thing you don't do is give cut to any of your starters.
Well, I'm building up my Charizard Smooth Pull. I'm giving it Cut, Strength, Fly. What should I give it? It's shame Rock Smash isn't in this gen. That'd be a good move for Charizard.
You're the worst person ever.
I think in Red and Blue, Charizard can actually learn Fly, could it? I think they patched that in Yellow.
Yep.
Why? It has wings. It can fucking fly. Yeah.
Because who wants to teach Fly to the Charizard, honestly?
Well, it's good to have a flying type move on Charizard. It's because otherwise, I know I would just end up sticking 4 fire moves on it just because. I think I will eventually give mine Fly.
So I don't ever teach my starter HM unless they're the water type, in which give it Surf, because that's actually a good move.
Surf is like one of the best water moves I find.
Is Waterfall good?
Waterfall is good, specifically for the physical attackers.
Yeah. Dive is...
Dive, don't really go for it. It's water dig.
Yeah, it basically is,
Surf is the only one, isn't it?
Surf and Waterfall. Waterfall, give that to something like Gyarados. Gyarados will benefit greatly from it.
Anyway, Bill here has somehow managed to fuse himself with a Pokemon, because that's smart. This guy's meant to be like the genius guy, isn't he?
See, if this was anything like that film, The Fly, this would be terrifying.
I don't know what you're talking about.
It's more or less about a scientist who creates a teleporter, ends up being fused with a fly, and gradually turns all grotesque and that.
Ah.
So... Yeah, he'd be fucked.
Yeah, Bill... one thing I remember from Bill is that in the TCG, he was one of my favourite trainer cards to have just around, because he was like one of the most simple trading card game like trainers, because all his effect was that you just play him and draw 2 cards. That was just it. You just refresh your hand with him. And he was very useful in the original games. I think they edited him to be a supporter in later releases, which is kind of a shame because that means that you can only play like one of them a turn. But still, in the early days, it was useful just to have Bill and just draw some more cards, refresh your hand. Also, him alongside with Professor Oak, because Professor Oak was you just discard your hand as it is, draw 7 new ones. There's use up all the useful shit in your hand, then just maybe Bill, if you've got Bill in your hand, refresh it, or if not, then just ditch everything with Professor Oak, get fresh new stuff, buff up your bench a little bit, you'll be fine.
So I know we just got past it, but I like the fact that when Bill comes out of the teleporter unfused, it goes to Pikachu's little window thing, and it shows his emotion, just oh my god!
Pikachu's holy shit, what am I watching it?
Pokemon can become human?
Shit, I can become Ashiku again! Wait.
Oh god, no. No. They never even resolve that at the end, do they?
I don't remember that episode other than Ashiku being a thing.
I'm pretty sure I remember somewhere that it just ends Ash still being a Pikachu, and then next episode, Ash is back.
Well, actually, that's the alternate Pokemon universe. I'm not going to keep doing this, but I am.
Each episode takes place in an alternate reality.
Oh, well.
That's where Rick and Morty was getting it from.
Yeah.